right. Okay, Vanessa, are you ready to get this party started?
Ready.
All right. So we are going to be planning a 5-day multicultural unit um, with a focus of perspective, figuring out, keeping track who's talking, and what's going on in the story to aid comprehension. All right, I guess the first thing that we can talk about is what we want out of it. Like, what is our outcome? What do we want to accomplish here?
So, our current focus, or that one that we're getting ready to start, right, is perspective.
Uh-huh.
But then we're also leading into context clues, which is one that we identified
In backwards planning.
on our map scores.
Okay.
So, I'm pulling up our. So, what do we want to include?
You know what? I think, we want to focus on the kids really following the story and being able to pick out who's talking and the feelings from the words that they say.
So, like an I can by the end. So, I
can keep track of who's speaking
or which character?
or which character speaking in my books, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So clues to give them to focus in on would be quotation marks.
Yes. And maybe character names or the word said or exclaimed, like keywords, focus words.
Which kind of goes along with our second step vocabulary. Okay, so quotation marks, character names, key and focus words, using the pictures.
Yes, and actually this ties quite nicely with the focus that we had last week with visualization.
Yes.
So they can still visualize, but actually make their characters talk in their visualizations now.
Yeah. Did you have anybody do that last week? Want to add words to their?
Actually, I didn't. Did you?
I did. Just one. Just one. So it will be nice to lead in with her sharing that. Okay, so. Okay, what do we want to use to get there?
All right, so I have a couple books, and I want to represent all of our students culturally. So I'm having a hard time, like, picking out just 5 stories. I have some of the titles is Sadie and the Snowman. And then I have Jonathan and his mommy. I have Dad and Me in the Morning. I didn't know if some of our students, they live in a single parent household or dad's raising, which you have one. I have a story called Tell Me a Story, Mama. And I also have one that depicts a little girl and her mom when Mama comes home. This is like a average
mom.
Yeah, average working mom. I have The Bunions, which is a story about looks like maybe a white family here. And then I have Peter's Chair, looks like a black family. And this one here is a black mom and daughter or whatever. And this Dad and Me in the Morning, I think this is to a white dad and a sorry. This is a white dad and a white son. Okay, so
Back to it.
yeah. So I have a book called Peter's Chair, which is about an African American family, and I have The Bunions, which is about a an average white family. Looks like maybe real Paul Bunyan and his kids. And I also have a story about When Mama Comes Home Tonight. It's about a working white mother and child. And I have a black story about a mother and a child, about a mom telling a story to her baby. And then I have Dad and Me, which is about a white dad and son. I have this story called Something Beautiful. It's about a young black girl who lives inner city, who learns the word beautiful and tells about what she thinks is beautiful about her neighborhood. And then looks like an African American story about Max Found Two Sticks, about playing music. And then about a black family. This book is called The Leaving Morning. It's about a black family that's moving and having to say goodbye to all of their loved ones.
I like those.
Yeah, but narrowing down, what do you have?
So I have Knots on a Counting Rope. It's an American Indian story, but it's learning intergenerational, which I feel like our kids so often have great grandma and grandma, and so learning about the passage of time and helping the little boy overcome his greatest obstacle.
Okay.
And then I have the Name Jar. It's a little girl who's just moving here from Korea. It reminds me of Chrysanthemum because she doesn't want to introduce herself because she doesn't think people will be able to say her name because it's a Korean type name, so she has to pick a new name, but she doesn't know what name to choose. More than anything else, is just a favorite of mine. It's just overcoming obstacles. It's actually about Booker T. Washington and how he was a non-reader.
Oh,
and
nice.
How he learned to read. And then Big Mama's. The whole family goes to visit Big Mama's, which just reminds me of so often how many of our kids travel away to go see family. They don't, go to the city. This I thought would be interesting because they go to like a farm.
Okay.
So they experience the farmhouse stuff that so often our kids aren't familiar with.
Nice. Okay, so
that's a stack.
Yeah. So we can read some of these during read alouds too.
Yeah.
So we can use some for our mini lessons, and then we can use some for read aloud.
Yeah.
I really, really like that Booker T. Washington book that you brought to the table because, like you said, he was a non-reader, and it gives kids a sense of hope. Like, if they work hard, they can read too, just like him.
Yeah. And it's actually called More Than Anything Else because that's like the theme throughout the whole story. He just wanted more than anything to learn how to read.
Okay.
And the struggles he overcame because his parents were non-readers.
Great. So will that be a good book for visualization and for perspective to see who's talking? And
probably.
Okay.
There's not a lot of talky stuff. Like there's not a lot of the dialogue tags of like quotation marks and she said, I said, but there is some in there. But building on their visualization and adding. So if we wanted them to add their thinking and the words that way, this would be a good one for that because there's not a lot of. I mean, there's some like on this very last page where he's talking to the man who's helping him. It says, I have to know more, tell me more, I say. And then it says, what's your name, he asks. So there's little things, but it's not like a book full of talk.
Okay. So let's
put
that one.
Introduction to it, probably.
Yeah.
So we want to do that one.
And you know what? I like this one too, The Dad and Me in the Morning, only because I know of some of our students live with their dads, or they're split between mom and dad.
I have a lot that would connect to that.
So
Me and Dad in the Morning?
Yes.
I liked, like this when Mama comes home tonight, and that something beautiful is a good one. Just
Okay.
because I feel like it ties to this something beautiful ties to where we are now, like just physically in our community.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of experiences that I think our kids go through.
Yes. She even tries to clean her community to make it beautiful. So,
So that could even lead into some more. Yeah, I like
Okay.
this one. And then this just reminds me of a conversation I had with one of my kids, talking about when her mom got off work.
so she's gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And and that's another thing. A lot of our kids are latchkey kids that go home with big brother and big sister, and their their
Yeah.
mothers are working.
Yeah.
You know.
So I think there'll be a lot of connection too on that.
Let's see. I really like the name jar because a lot of our kids
I know.
do have those names
Yeah.
that,
And this one is full of dialogue. So this might be one we want to wait after. Like this would be one to really get
Okay.
in it with, because here I'll let you. There's tons of dialogue on every page.
Oh, yeah. This is great.
So that would be challenging, and we might copy one page one day and just look at one page to talk about who's saying what. Because I don't know if there's a lot of dialogue tags. Is there a lot of she said, he said? Just he said.
Yeah.
So there's not that calling of the
She
name
told
every
him.
time.
Yeah. Mr. Kim said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that would be good.
This would be great.
We'll put this kind of though later in the week, maybe.
Okay.
I'll star it so that we know. That might be one we want to use a couple of days.
So how many are we?
We are at 4.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Doing this. Hold on. So we're at Dad and me in the morning. The name jar. When Mama comes home. We're at
Okay.
5. Sorry,
Alright.
missed one.
All
So
right.
maybe we can leave the other ones
For read alouds.
for read alouds,
All right.
or in case of an emergency.
All right. So let's name a couple, and we don't have to get through all of a book during mini lesson, so we can always pull and finish for read aloud as well. And then we have Jonathan and his mommy. Tell me a story, Mama. Sadie and the Snowman. The Bunions. Peter's chair. The leaving morning, and Max found 2 sticks.
Perfect.
And
The
knots on a counting rope. So we have these to choose from for read aloud. All right. Oh, and Big Mamas. Okay. So what do you think? What do you think this comp check? So we were looking at the standard RL 1.6, which is author's perspective.
I can.
How will we?
It's keeping track of who is speaking and how
Okay.
they are speaking.
Who and how they are speaking in a story. How are we gonna assess? So what type of formative assessments
Maybe we want to give them a piece of text, like just a copy
Okay.
of a text, and pull out a couple.
Do you want to? Because I remember in backwards planning we were talking a little bit about readers' theater.
Yes. That's how. We could comp check how they're speaking.
Okay. Do you want to
by
try
having them reread some of ours that we've been doing, and they portray the character.
Okay.
Reading their lines.
So which one can really drive that home, so we can kind of focus on that?
Name jar has a lot of dialogue in it.
Mm-hmm.
Something Beautiful does too.
So do you want to just get some snippets out?
That's what I think. Maybe pull some different ones for me from whatever we do read aloud and these.
Okay. All right. And then we'll just have them read to us.
Put them in the groups and let them.
Okay.
So really their comp check for that will be more orally than written.
And I think that's great for first grade.
Oh, yeah. We'll be comfortable with that, too.
All right. And so what about our students who are having a hard time? How can we, like our struggling students, how can we scaffold their instruction? How can we, so we can always pull a small group and start smaller with maybe a couple of lines of text and just focus in on a smaller story on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
And we can always look for early books that are like maybe 1G, 2G. Well, actually, we probably need to start with 1B because I think that's where dialogue starts.
Yeah,
like around 1B.
There might be a little bit in 2G, but there's not much. So mostly 1B, 2B. And just focus in maybe just at the sentence level, just one
sentence at a time. Okay.
And really making sure that when we're modeling, that we're explicit enough that they're giving them those cues.
Okay.
That they're picking up on that. But I think pairing them with a child who has it and kind of doing a little peer partner stuff.
So what do you think about Seesaw? How are you going to record? Should we have them record themselves? Should we do Seesaw? I still don't have my apps.
I need to send an email about that.
So what about, do you think I could probably just have them record themselves?
Do you have it on yours yet? You could have them record on your computer on Seesaw. It's web-based too.
Oh, is it?
So you could just have a couple at a time record.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this
it's
have
super easy. Yeah, mine can video. They could do one of two things. They can take a picture of the page that they're reading and just record their response, so that we're not judging their writing, we're judging their understanding, and just share how they know who's talking and why they think they're talking the way that they're talking.
Oh wow, I like that one.
Yeah,
that can you put that down for our comp check? So yeah,
because then it can just go in their journal. It's there, and we can sit together in collaboration and go over them.
That sounds good. Let's plan for Seesaw for our comp check.
Yeah.
And we'll just do some formative check-ins.
Yeah.
Small group.
That's easy.
All right. Sounds like we have a plan.
Perfect.
And we'll check back in to see how this goes and see if we need to do any remediation next week.
Perfect. What book do you want to start with?
Let's start with the one that has the least amount of dialogue, probably.
Yeah. So I would do that one, or Dad and Me in the Morning.
All right.
So you want to do one, I'll do one, and then we can switch?
Sure.
So see what worked and what didn't.
I'll start with More Than Anything Else.
Okay, and I'll start with Dad and Me in the Morning.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yay, thanks.